Bonjour tout le monde, my name is Jackie. Welcome to Weekday Wanderings in Paris. Today I'm near my place. I'm in the 14th arrondissement. We're centering around the area called Port Royal. The place we are at the moment is very special. It's often mixed with the name Port Royal. It's called Observatoire Portugal. And I know it was time to start my video because there's a clock behind me that says 10:30. It's a rather modern incantation of the time, but it is the most accurate clock in Paris because we are here at the Paris Observatory. So I think that's pretty special. So we have 5 people online. So hello to everybody. We're at the Paris Observatory, which is the largest observatory in the world. And one of the most historic and important. So like I said, that was the clock, and it does actually say on here that this is where the legal time of France is measured from, which I think is pretty cool. There's some information there about the Paris Observatory. So this is the building itself. Now we have been here before, but we were on the other side. I did a walk on Boulevard Michelle a few months ago, and we were near the Arago monument. Bonjour Terry, bonjour Kim, welcome, thank you for joining me. Okay, so there we've got the observatory there. And this building here was built, or it started being built in 1667. Let's see if we can get a clearer view there. Okay, I've been wanting to visit it ever since lockdown, and of course it's closed to the public at the moment. I would love to go in because there is a museum in there, and there's some amazing things in there to see. Right. Okay, so this building was built by a man called Claude Perrault, and he was actually the brother of Charles Perrault, who you may recognize. He was the famous writer of such classics as Cendrillon, or Cinderella, and Le Chat Botté, which is Puss in Boots, and Le Petit Chaperon Rouge, which is Little Red Riding Hood. Glendelay, bonjour, looking forward to this walk, thank you. So this gentleman we have here is Le Verrier. He is the father of French meteorology. He also discovered the planet of Neptune, among other things. Okay, so this building is has been built directly north, south, east, west. So it's very its specific dimensions and everything are really fascinating for me. So this area that we're in is very special. So this is the Avenue de l'Observatoire that we're on at the moment. Lots of other things were discovered or measured here. For example, the second was measured here for the first time and established officially, and also the meter. So the metric system is all based on works that were carried out in this building here. I find that stuff fascinating. Susan McGregor, bonjour. Judy, hi there. Ah, Judy's ordinateur is fou, she says. Mon ordinateur est fou. I think most ordinateurs are. Ginny Campbell, hi there, nice to see you. I like to see all my regulars coming on, it really is encouraging. So a lot of these buildings are very historic. Over in this general direction we have the Hôpital Saint-Vincent de Paul, which is actually no longer used as an hôpital. This here is the Monastery of the Visitation. Has a lot of monastic shops and everything there now, which is really interesting. This street is actually called Rue Cassini, and Rue Cassini is named after the Cassini family, and the Cassinis were astronomers, and for 4 generations they were the directors of the Paris Observatory. So that's why this road here is named after them, Rue Cassini. Okay, so we're walking down the Avenue de l'Observatoire in the 14th arrondissement. And over here to our right are very modern buildings which constitute the Hospital Port Royal. They of course have grown up around what you can't see from the outside, but was a monastery, or sorry, an abbey, which was built in the early 1600s by Anne of Austria. And Anne of Austria was the queen, the mother of Louis XIV, and after her husband died, was Louis XIII, she reigned on behalf of Louis XIV while he was still a minor. So there's a statue here dedicated to a man who was very important in obstetrics and gynecological health, which is why Port Royal is one of the most famous maternity hospitals in Paris. Okay, now I should have shown you this earlier because the weather here is a little bit crummy. Okay, but see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see. You can see up on the hill there, that is a Sacré-Cœur, all the way over the other side of Paris on the hills of Montmartre. Okay, and that is done deliberately because the Paris Observatory was built on the Meridian line, and that was the Meridian line that was used before Greenwich became the international standard. So this Avenue de l'Observatoire is on the Meridian line. So we're going directly north here. Okay, we're going to cross over here because the light's green. Wow, Sacré-Cœur, yeah, I'm sorry, the weather is, like I said, inclement weather. I knew that it was going to be dodgy today, and a few moments ago there was a relatively clear view of Sacré-Cœur, but unfortunately it's covered by a bit of rain now. But often, like, because this is, I'll show you where we are now. So this is the Avenue d'Enfer Rochereau down here. So literally just down the road there is the d'Enfer Rochereau, which we've also done a walk at. So it's very close to where I live. And Avenue d'Enfer Rochereau goes up to here. This is where we're heading to. It's kind of joins up with the Avenue de l'Observatoire, and then it splits again, which I'll show you when it does split. So Port Royal, the Abbey, which is now the hospital, is in this general area here. So like I said, this is the maternity here. So we're not actually going to go look at that because you can't see a lot from the outside. But this area was very busy back in the 1600s. Lots of religious buildings, which often doubled as hospitals, places for you know, people indigent to be cared for. And of course they remain so. So the Port Royal is a big hospital. Saint Joseph was a hospital, but it's shut down now. Sorry, not Saint Joseph, Saint Vincent de Paul. And it's also next to the Hôpital Cochin, which is the more modern one which has been built. Okay, so this is the area we call Observatoire Portugal. So my bus drops me off here, bus 38. Bus 38 is one of the best buses because it goes north to south, right down the middle of Paris. And that's my bus line that I like to take. Gets you to all the really cool places. Okay, so here we are at Port Royal. So it's a really nice area. So you've got the hospital main entrance is just down here. Okay, now we're going to cross over here, I think. So this one here is the Boulevard de Port Royal. And I will show you this boulevard down here just in a moment. Thomas Lucan says coucou de Paris 14. Thomas is also in the 14e, just a little bit behind us. Okay, so we're crossing over here. Now this is the train station Port Royal. It was built in this lovely Art Nouveau style, and it was built in 1896, I believe, 1897. So this is the only thing that it serves is the Area B. So So this was built then when it used to be called the railway station to, the railway line to Sceaux. Sceaux is a chateau which is just south of my place, so just down that way. And I still haven't been there, but it's beautiful and I apparently need to go. But I'm going to wait until the cherry trees come out because they have the most amazing cherry tree plantation. Okay, what do I want to tell you about the train of Port Royal? Wow, its claim to fame, apart from being on line B, area B, so that's the one that goes north to Charles de Gaulle. Okay, in 1996 there was a bomb attack here. 91 people were injured, 4 people died, so that was really sad. So that's the area station at Port Royal, and of course it's just mainly the area that's interesting. Let's see, Jenny Campbell, I have lots of riding bus stories. That's from Judy. And yes, I love riding the buses in Paris. Riding the buses in Paris is far better than taking the metro. Oh, which of course brings me to the point, we are having a grève today. The metro is on grève, which means on strike. So we're about to experience a day from hell, because it's not only the grève with the metro on strike, but it's also the last day of the school term. So this afternoon the roads are going to be absolutely packed with people screaming out they can't get anywhere. Right, yes Terry, I have deliberately come here. I want to show you a few things. This is the Boulevard de Montparnasse, which is a very special place. This was the basically Mecca in the 1920s and 30s for American writers and all artists and writers of the period. And this restaurant here is actually a new one, but it's taken the name Boulier, and it's named after the Bal Boulier, which used to be where this big ugly building is here. This big ugly building is the Crous, which is support, accommodation, food, everything for university students. So that's a very, 70s building, very ugly, but originally it was the Bal Boulier, which was a beautiful restaurant and dance hall and everything, which shut down in the 1940s. And of course this restaurant here has taken the name. But I wanted to show you the Closerie de Lila. Closerie de Lila. This is beautiful. This was on my bucket list of places to come and visit, which I did about 1.5 years ago, which was beautiful. Now this was one of Hemingway and Scott Fitzgerald's favourite places to come. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the bar in here is called the Bar Hemingway. There's a few of those. It's beautiful, beautiful restaurant, cafe. And yeah, so Hemingway used to, it's Ernest of course, Ernest Hemingway, he used to hang out here quite a bit because he lived down this street here at some point. So this street here is called the Rue Notre-Dame-des-Champs. He lived at number 113. I think that was the second place he used to live. He lived also down at Cardinal Lemoine, which is in the 5th, near the Place de l'Estrapade, or just right next to that. So if you've read A Movable Feast, which is probably Hemingway's most famous work, especially in terms of Paris, because it's all about Paris, he does write a little bit about, he would come here and after coming to the cafe, and he would sit down and he would look up at the statue here. Now I've seen the statue many times and I didn't really know a lot about it until I was waiting for my bus here the other day, and I was actually reading the statue, and there's lots of information about it. So Maréchal Ney, the Maréchal were appointed Maréchal of France, which is basically the highest military honour, by Napoleon. So around here you've got all this writing, and those are all of the battles he was involved with, and like all 3 sides are covered. This is like a biography of his life. It's a beautiful statue. It shows him very victorious in battle, and I always thought that was kind of cool, but I didn't understand the significance of it, and I only just discovered that this week. The significance being that he was Napoleon's, and Napoleon called him the bravest of the brave. He was incredibly brave. He wasn't from an aristocratic family, and Kim says, oh, at least the Garbos aren't on strike. True, we need them, don't we? This Maréchal Ney, he worked his way up just through blood, sweat and tears to become one of the Maréchal, and he served with Napoleon. Then of course when Napoleon was deposed the first time, he came back to Paris and he pledged allegiance to the Louis XVIII, who was reinstalled as king. And then of course when Napoleon came back, he escaped from exile and came back and raised an army, and then of course went to Waterloo and got defeated there, and then that was the end of that. That was the 100 days of Napoleon's second rule. And unfortunately during that, Napoleon of course he got exiled again to St. Helena where he died, but his very brave Maréchal Ney was tried for treason, and he was actually executed in this spot. So hence the significance of his statue here. I always find it really sad that you've got all these wonderful national heroes who were all killed. Really sad. I mean, I understand the politics of the time and everything, but it's still kind of sad. And he's been honoured with that beautiful statue. So I'm going to cross over on a red light in front of these cars, which is a bit silly, but anyway. Now this statue here also belongs to a French soldier named Joseph Garnier. That was later on in the Franco-Prussian War. Okay, so here we are. Now we're heading along the Avenue de l'Observatoire here, and we're crossing over at this green light because we can. The weather is turning to custard, so hopefully it will stop before I get soaking. I'll finish this before I get soaking wet. Okay, so here we go. We're heading towards the Jardin des Exploratoires, les Explorateurs, pardon. So this garden here, with its beautiful fountain, the Fontaine des Quatre Parties du Monde, so the fountain of the four parts of the world, is dedicated to two great explorers, one being Marco Polo, who was Italian, and then another one was a Frenchman named Robert Cavelier de la Salle. Now, Marco Polo was about going to the New World, yes, and de la Salle, he discovered the New World as well, the North America. So he was involved with finding Canada and establishing colonies there, and also in Louisiana. And he was killed as well. Very sad. Okay, so this is a beautiful fountain here. I love it. I'm trying to avoid videoing children. Gorgeous fountain. So this was built under the Second Empire. Now if we look down here, I'll go past the fountain and then we'll get a better look. But you may be aware of where we are. We're at the southern end of the Jardin de Luxembourg. Yes, we are. That's exactly right, Judy. Bravo. So this is a nice little park. Okay, so we're on the Avenue de l'Observatoire still. So it takes that very north-south orientation. But the street that's just off to our right here, this is the Boulevard Michelle. So that's where that starts. And Boulevard Michelle is one of my favourite streets in Paris because it's in my favourite song of all time, which is "Where Do You Go To, My Lovely?" I love that song so much. I think that's where I got my love of Paris from. Look at that, if I could take a photo right now. So we are looking down towards the Luxembourg Gardens, and that building we see there is the Luxembourg Palace and the Senate, the French Senate. Okay, so It's a lovely little area. It's very central. As I said, we've got Montparnasse off in that direction back there, and we head down these streets here, we get to Saint-Germain-des-Prés. And so now technically we're in the 6th arrondissement. Once we crossed over the road back there by the Closerie de Lille, we were in the 6th arrondissement. And if we go across the road to where I'm pointing the camera now, that's in the 5th arrondissement. So we're on the border between 3 arrondissements. Okay, let me check my time. Yes, I'm going to finish very quickly, but I just want to show you one more thing. The rubbish truck, yes. No, not the rubbish truck. Let's go out of this park here. Hoopla. This is what I want to show you. How wonderful the rubbish men are. They do a great job. Bonjour. This is what I want to show you. This is the Val de Grâce. Okay, we're going from the 14th to the 6th, and now we're going over to the 5th. How special is that? So the Val de Grâce is very special. It was on my list of places to go, and I did go there recently, and it was amazing. No, this is not the Panthéon. This is the Val de Grâce. The Panthéon is further up this way. We go up here, 2 bus stops, and then to our right, that's the Panthéon. But where we're heading now is the Val de Grâce. Now the Val de Grâce was another abbey, a separate one from the Port Royal Abbey, and it was built in 1624. That's when it started, at least. It took a long time to build, and again it was built under Anne of Austria. And the church itself is absolutely magnificent inside. As with all abbeys, well, not with all of them, but with the majority of them, when the French Revolution happened, anything remotely religious was either destroyed or repurposed. And in the case of the Val de Grâce, it became a hospital. And specifically it became the medical hospital. So this is the Hôpital de l'Armée de France. It has a really amazing history. There is a museum there, which is very low key. It's €5 to go visit it. It's only open in the afternoons, but you can access it, and then you can also go into the church, which is absolutely stunning. It's so amazing, and the museum itself is absolutely fascinating. A lot of amazing history there. So obviously there's a lot of history about French colonization, which, good or for bad, that's what happened. But there were a lot of medical developments that, like for example, one of the doctors who worked here, he discovered paludism, which is, what's the word? Malaria, that's it. Yeah, so obviously, you know, working in the tropics and all these people were dying of some sort of disease. They weren't really sure what it was, and it turned out that it was mosquitoes. Sorry, we're getting narrow streets. Okay, Judy says, never been there, Jackie. Thank you. It's on my to-do list. You know, this is the thing with Paris. Quite often we stick to the main routes and we don't take these little side streets. And it's these little side streets that have some of the most amazing and fascinating things. So I'm very pleased to be able to share this with you. Just going to race down quickly to the end of the street, show you the Val de Grâce for real. When I first discovered Val de Grâce, I was taking my bus 38 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I never noticed it until one day I just happened to look right, just as the bus went past. As you can see, this is a very narrow street, easy to miss. And then I was like, oh my goodness, what is that building? And then I finally got to walk there. Yes, the side streets are always the best magic. Merci. Okay, so we will go up to the end here and we will finish our walk here. It's just quite a beautiful little place. So, and the road that we're on up here, this is the Rue Saint-Jacques. so Saint-Jacques, so this leads up to the Source Saint-Jacques, which is at Châtelet, and this is on the route, what is it called? I mixed up the English, the French and the Spanish version. So this is the Compostela, the route to Saint-Jacques de Compostela, down here. So these buildings are very old, from the early 1600s, and they're beautiful. So anyway, I'm going to finish there and flip my camera around and say thank you very much for joining me on this walk, just a little walk around where we're 14th, the 6th and 5th. So at Port Royal, Observatoire and Val de Grâce. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. I will see you next Friday for somewhere else. Take care. See you. Bye.